Welcome to another weekly edition of our StaySmart newsletter and podcast, brought to you by Vicinity Corporate Housing, where we try to keep you updated on what we see happening in the industry. Coming to you from a beautiful Monterey, California. I was in town this weekend to run the Big Sur Marathon in support of Move for Hunger. I ran with Team Move for Hunger. It's a great organization. I'd love for you to check them out and support this great organization. So I'm going to go ahead and just dive in. We have 4 articles this week. The first one is about the DOT, Department of Transportation, putting in new regulations for airlines in regards to canceled flights and how they have to refund them. Basically, they have to give the equivalent of a cash refund instead of most airlines have been doing a credit for your airline account that you can use for future flights. The Biden administration has really been pushing for this, and so this is a new rule where airlines are now going to have to give you a cash equivalent refund. So interesting article about the airlines industry. The next one is about Brightline West. So they've just broke ground. Brightline is a high-speed rail company. They already are operating in Florida. This is a new, really big project. It's a $12 billion project that they broke ground. It's going to go from Las Vegas, Southern California. They expect it to be ready about 2028, about 4 years out. They're hoping to have it ready for the 2028 Olympics. But this is really interesting. We talked about high-speed rail before. It's kind of a more sustainable travel option. So it'll be interesting to see if this really big project, if it's going to be transformative for the rail industry in the U.S. Yeah. And then there's another article, it's from Bloomberg, about cheap mortgages slowing down reloads or hindering reloads. So, obviously, if you're in the relocation industry, this is no news to you, but this really talks about the auto industry, the Midwest, Michigan, trying to get those employees to relocate down to the South where there's some new plants, and those cheap mortgages and raising housing costs are really hindering those relocations, or those people wanting to relocate because they have those cheap mortgages. We saw this week rates are up above 7 now, 7.5% we're seeing. Not quite as high as the peak of last year, but we're obviously seeing really high interest rates right now, and so those mortgage rates are a hindrance for relocations. And then finally, we have an article about short-term rental bans. We've talked about those a lot, but I think this one's a little bit unique. This is in Hawaii. There's a couple bills going through the state legislature there. Really what they're trying to do is outright ban non-owner occupied short-term rentals in Hawaii. And that's kind of a little bit more sensitive subject now because the housing shortage in Hawaii has been exacerbated by the Maui fires. And this is really, I've talked about regulations on this podcast before, and I do think they're normally not something that we need to have outright bans, but Hawaii might be a little bit different in this situation right now. So really interesting information about another short-term rental regulation or ban. So those are the articles that we see this week. I'd love to hear from you. If there's anything you'd like to have us talk about, let us know. If you haven't subscribed to our newsletter or podcast, go ahead and do that. But that's what I see transition this week. Take care, everyone.